You've probably heard it 1,000 times. You need to be perfect to succeed. But what if I told you that perfection is actually standing in the way of your success? It's true. Perfection is not the path to greatness. Progress is. If you're waiting for everything to be just right before you take action, you're already behind. So many people hold themselves back, thinking they need that perfect plan, that perfect idea, or the perfect time. But that's a trap. In this video, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you exactly why chasing perfection is a mistake and how making progress, no matter how small, is the real key to success. I'll help you shift your focus from getting everything perfect to simply moving forward. Because let me tell you something, every small step you take, every little progress you make, it compounds and leads to massive change. You don't need perfection to win, you need progress. So if you've been waiting for the perfect moment to start that business, make that change, or take that leap, this video is for you. It's time to stop waiting and start moving forward. Stick with me as I show you why progress is better than perfection and how this simple shift in thinking can completely change the direction of your life. Let's get started. Number 1, perfection is a mirage, progress is real. Perfection is a concept that sounds so appealing, doesn't it? We hear it all the time. We see it in the movies, we hear it in the stories, and somehow we all feel like it's this final destination we should be reaching for. But here's the truth, perfection isn't real. It's like a mirage in the desert. From a distance, it seems possible. It seems like it's just out of reach, and if you just keep pushing, you'll get there. But the closer you get, the more it slips away. The idea of perfection holds so many people back. And if you're one of those people who have been stuck, waiting for everything to be just right, this message is for you. Perfection is a lie. It doesn't exist. There's no perfect moment, no perfect way, no perfect time, and the more we chase it, the more we miss out on the real opportunities that come from making progress. Think about it for a second. Perfection is this ideal state we constantly picture in our heads. We imagine the perfect situation, the perfect version of ourselves, the perfect outcome. We say things like, once I have this skill mastered, or once I have more time, or once everything aligns perfectly, then I'll go for it. But here's the thing, while you're waiting for all those things to line up, the world is moving forward. Others are taking action. Others are learning and growing. Even if they don't have everything figured out, they understand that perfection isn't what gets them closer to their goals, it's progress. Let's take a moment and really think about this. Every time you hold yourself back because you're waiting for perfection, you're giving away your power. You're allowing this illusion to dictate when you'll take the next step, when you'll show up, when you'll do the work. But guess what? The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Perfection paralyzes you. It convinces you that unless everything is perfectly aligned, you can't move forward. But the truth is, it's the small, imperfect actions that build momentum. Progress is real. It's tangible. It's something you can see, measure, and feel. Let me paint a picture for you. Think about how a child learns to walk. They don't wait until they've mastered walking in their head. They don't spend weeks analyzing how to walk. They stand up, they take a few wobbly steps, and they fall. And you know what? They get back up, and they try again. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it's progress. Every time they fall, they get a little bit stronger. They learn a little bit more, and that, my friend, is the key to success. We were all that child at some point. We took our first steps, we stumbled, and we kept going. But somewhere along the way, we start to believe that perfection is possible, that it's something to strive for. We see others who seem to have it all together, and we think, why can't I be like them? But here's the reality. Those people aren't perfect. They're just showing up and making progress every day, even when things aren't ideal. And that's what gets them closer to where they want to be. They've stopped waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect outcome. They've realized that perfection is a mirage. It's something that keeps you running in circles, never quite reaching it. But progress is real. And that's what you need to focus on. You see, perfection makes you overthink. It makes you second guess yourself. It makes you hesitate, question, and doubt. And in that doubt, you waste time, you miss opportunities, you let chances slip through your fingers. But when you focus on progress, it doesn't matter how imperfect the first step is. What matters is that you're moving forward. Even if it's just a tiny bit, Progress builds on itself. It compounds. Every day you take action, no matter how small, you get closer to your goals. And before you know it, you look back and realize just how far you've come. Here's the thing. You won't get there by waiting for everything to be perfect. You'll get there by doing, by acting, by showing up day in and day out, even when things aren't ideal. Perfectionism keeps you stuck. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of thinking and rethinking, planning and replanning. But real growth happens when you take action. Even if you don't have it all figured out yet, even if things aren't perfect, just keep moving. That's how you make progress. That's how you win. So if you've been waiting for the perfect time, waiting to feel completely ready, waiting to have all the answers, I'm here to tell you that time will never come. It's time to step into the reality of progress. It's time to stop chasing something that doesn't exist. It's time to start moving forward, no matter how imperfect it may feel. And once you do, you'll find that progress is the only thing that's real. It's the only thing that moves you closer to your goals. And when you look back, you'll see that every imperfect step was worth it. Take that first step, even if it's not perfect, because perfection is a mirage. Progress is real, and that's what will change your life. Number 2, perfection is the enemy of execution. You've got big dreams, you've got goals, you want to achieve something great. But there's one thing that's been standing in your way, preventing you from getting where you want to go: perfection. And here's the harsh truth. Perfection is the enemy of execution. The longer you hold on to the idea that everything needs to be perfect before you take action, the longer you stay stuck in place, not moving forward, not getting any closer to what you truly want. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that things need to be perfect before you can get started. We've all been there. We want the perfect plan, the perfect strategy, the perfect timing. We spend so much time imagining the ideal scenario that we forget the most important thing: action. Without action, nothing happens. The perfect plan is useless if you don't execute it. The perfect timing means nothing if you're not willing to take the leap. Now think about the people who are successful, really successful. They didn't get there by waiting for everything to fall into place perfectly. They got there by taking action, even when things weren't perfect. They didn't wait for the ideal moment. They created it. They worked with what they had, made adjustments along the way, and kept moving forward. They understood that perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. What does exist, what really matters, is action, progress, execution. It's common to hear people say, "I'll start when everything is in place," or "Once I have more experience, I'll go for it." But that's the problem. If you keep waiting for the stars to align perfectly, you'll never take the first step. The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. The conditions will never be just right. And if you wait for perfection, you'll be waiting forever. Because perfection doesn't lead to execution. It leads to hesitation, overthinking, and inaction. Take a minute and think about how often you've caught yourself overthinking a project, a decision, or a new idea. You want it to be perfect, so you go back to the drawing board again and again. You tweak things here, adjust things there, constantly trying to get everything just right. But the more you focus on making it perfect, the more you're delaying your progress. You're putting off the very thing that will move you closer to your goal: execution. Here's the truth you need to hear. Execution doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, perfection can actually make execution harder. The fear of not doing things perfectly can paralyze you. You become afraid of making mistakes, of failing, of putting something out there that's less than perfect. But here's what you need to understand. Failure is part of the process. Mistakes are how you learn. Imperfection is how you grow. And you can't learn or grow without taking action. Think about a time when you tried something new. Maybe it was a new job, a new hobby, or a new project. Chances are, you didn't have it all figured out at first. You didn't start off perfect, but you learned as you went. You made mistakes, adjusted, and kept going. And that's what led to your growth. That's what led to your success. But if you had waited for everything to be perfect, you would have never started in the first place. And that's what happens when perfection becomes your goal. It stops you from taking action. The best way to break free from the trap of perfection is to simply start. Take that first step, even if it's messy. Start with what you have, with the skills and knowledge you have right now, and as you go, you'll improve. As you take action, you'll learn what works and what doesn't. You'll discover what needs to change, what needs to be tweaked, and what needs to be done differently. And that's how you make progress. It's not about getting everything right from the beginning. It's about doing. It's about showing up day in and day out and giving your best effort. The more you do, the better you get. The more you try, the more you learn. And the more you execute, the closer you get to your goals. But if you're stuck in the mindset that everything has to be perfect first, you'll never take that first step. And without that first step, you'll never get anywhere. Perfection is like a weight holding you back. It's a barrier that prevents you from moving forward. It convinces you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you need more time, more knowledge, more experience. But the truth is, you are ready right now. You don't need everything to be perfect. You need to take action. You need to execute. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. Did they wait for everything to be perfect before they started? No. They took action. They put in the work. They failed. They learned. They got better. And that's what allowed them to reach their goals. They didn't let the fear of imperfection stop them. They didn't let the pursuit of perfection keep them from taking action. And that's why they succeeded. If you want to achieve your goals, if you want to create something meaningful, you have to stop waiting for perfection. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. Start right where you are. Take action, execute, and keep moving forward even when things aren't perfect, because when you execute, you make progress. And that progress will eventually lead you to where you want to be. It's time to stop letting perfection be the thing that holds you back. It's time to embrace imperfection and start taking action, because execution is what moves you closer to your goals, not perfection. So take the leap. Start now, make mistakes, learn from them, and keep going, because when you do, that's when the magic happens. That's when you begin to make real progress. And that's when you'll see just how far you can go. Number 3, the road to success is paved with imperfect attempts. Success doesn't come in a straight line. It's not something that just falls into place perfectly one day. No, the road to success is paved with mistakes, missteps, and plenty of imperfect attempts. If you think success is about getting everything right from the start, you're going to be waiting a long time. The truth is, it's the imperfect attempts, the trial and error, and the constant pushing forward that eventually gets you to where you want to be. Think about anyone you look up to, anyone who's achieved something great. I can guarantee you one thing. They didn't get there by making everything perfect. In fact, they probably failed more times than they succeeded. They likely stumbled, fell, and made mistakes that no one even knows about. But they didn't let those imperfect attempts stop them. They learned from them, grew stronger, and kept pushing forward. Success is never about getting everything right on the first try. It's about learning, adapting, and pushing through those failures to eventually figure out what works. Every mistake you make is a lesson. Every time something doesn't go as planned, you have an opportunity to adjust, learn, and try again. That's what makes the road to success so valuable. It's those imperfect attempts that shape you into who you need to be to reach your goals. If you want to be successful, you need to get comfortable with imperfection. You need to embrace the mistakes, the failures, and the setbacks, because without them, you'll never learn the lessons that are necessary for success. Perfection won't get you anywhere, but imperfect attempts, on the other hand, are what will push you forward. When you try something new, when you take a risk, it's almost guaranteed that it won't be perfect. The first time you do anything, there's always going to be something that doesn't go according to plan. And that's okay. In fact, that's exactly what you should expect, because it's those imperfections that will guide you towards success. You might not get it right the first time, but you'll learn, grow, and refine your approach, and that's where progress happens. Look at any major breakthrough in history, whether it's in business, technology, sports, or any other field. The people who achieved greatness didn't do so by making everything perfect from the beginning. They stumbled, they failed, and they learned from those failures. They kept going despite the setbacks, and it was through those imperfect attempts that they eventually found success. The road to success isn't a straight line, and it's certainly not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up every day, even when things aren't perfect. And it's not just about the big, obvious failures either. Even the small missteps, the small imperfections are part of the process. Every time you don't get it right, you're one step closer to figuring it out. You learn more about yourself, about what works and about what doesn't. And the more you learn, the closer you get to success. The key is to never give up, even when things aren't going perfectly. Keep moving forward and keep learning from those imperfect attempts. It's easy to look at other people's success and think that they've got it all figured out. We see the end result, the business, the career, the achievements, and we think they did it perfectly. But what we don't see are the countless imperfect attempts that led them to that point. We don't see the mistakes, the failures, the struggles they had along the way, but those things are what got them to where they are today. They learned, they adapted, and they kept going. They didn't let their imperfect attempts stop them. They used them as stepping stones towards success. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to take imperfect action. The road to success isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing it, learning from it, and improving along the way. Every imperfect attempt is progress. Every failure is a lesson. Every mistake is an opportunity to get better. And every time you keep going, you're one step closer to success. You might be afraid of failure, and that's okay. But understand this: failure is not the enemy. Perfection is. When you strive for perfection, you paralyze yourself. You freeze up, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, the perfect plan. But waiting for perfection only keeps you stuck. It's the imperfect attempts, the ones that scare you, that are going to get you closer to where you want to be. You see, success doesn't happen in a vacuum. It doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of continuous effort, continuous learning, and continuous growth. And growth comes from those imperfect attempts. If you're not willing to make mistakes, if you're not willing to fail, you're never going to grow. And without growth, you'll never get closer to your goals. When you're on the road to success, you have to be willing to take risks. You have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone and try new things. You're not going to get it perfect every time. And that's okay. In fact, that's exactly what you should expect. It's those imperfect attempts, the failures and the mistakes that are going to give you the experience and knowledge you need to succeed. So remember this: success is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up, taking action, and learning from your mistakes. It's about embracing imperfection and understanding that every misstep is part of the journey. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of imperfection. Those are the things that will lead you to success. And if you keep going, if you keep learning, if you keep making those imperfect attempts, you'll eventually find yourself on the other side, looking back at all the lessons you've learned and the success you've achieved. Number 4, high achievers focus on progress, not approval. High achievers don't get caught up in the need for validation. They don't spend their time looking for approval or waiting for someone else to tell them they're on the right path. They focus on progress. They focus on getting better, learning from their mistakes, and constantly moving forward. And that's the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who get stuck waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect approval, or the perfect circumstances. Too many people are caught up in seeking approval from others. Whether it's from friends, family, colleagues, or society at large, the desire for approval can become paralyzing. People spend so much time worrying about what others think, about fitting into someone else's mold of success, that they forget what truly matters: their own growth, their own progress, and their own journey. High achievers understand that seeking approval is a trap. It's a never-ending cycle that only serves to slow you down. When you're focused on seeking validation from others, you're not focused on what you need to do to improve. You're not focused on the work that needs to be done. You're not focused on your own progress. Instead, you're caught up in the opinions of others, and that's a dangerous place to be. Because at the end of the day, no one else is going to define your success. Only you can do that. The key to breaking free from the need for approval is to stop comparing yourself to others. It's easy to look at someone else's success and think, I should be doing that too. Or, Why am I not as successful as they are? But when you're constantly measuring yourself against someone else's journey, you're only setting yourself up for disappointment. Everyone has their own path, their own timeline, and their own struggles. So instead of worrying about what others are doing, focus on your own progress. Focus on where you're at and where you're going. The truth is, you're never going to get everyone's approval. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone who doesn't get it, who doesn't support you, or who thinks you should be doing something differently. And that's okay, because the only approval that truly matters is your own. If you're proud of the work you're doing, if you're making progress, if you're learning and growing every day, then that's all that matters. The approval of others is fleeting and temporary, but the satisfaction that comes from knowing you're making progress is something that stays with you for the long haul. High achievers know this. They don't waste their time seeking approval because they know that it's not what will get them to where they want to be. They understand that success comes from consistent effort, from making small improvements each day, and from staying focused on the things that really matter. They are committed to their own growth and development, and they know that the journey is far more important than the external validation they might receive along the way. Focusing on progress, not approval, also allows you to take risks. When you're not worried about what others think, you're more likely to step outside your comfort zone, try new things, and take bold action. The fear of rejection or failure often holds people back from reaching their full potential. But when you stop worrying about approval, you free yourself to take those risks, make those mistakes, and learn from them. And that's how real growth happens. It's not about playing it safe or doing what's expected of you. It's about pushing yourself, trying new things, and continuing to evolve. This focus on progress over approval also helps you build confidence. The more you commit to your own growth and development, the more you'll begin to trust yourself and your abilities. You'll start to believe in your own potential, and that belief will drive you to keep going, even when things get tough. When you're not constantly seeking approval from others, you give yourself the freedom to be authentic, to follow your own path, and to make decisions based on what's best for you, not what others think you should do. It's also important to understand that seeking approval can cause you to lose sight of your own values and goals. When you're too focused on what others want or expect from you, you can easily fall into the trap of doing things just to please them. But that's not a path to fulfillment. You'll never truly be happy or successful if you're constantly trying to meet someone else's expectations. True success comes from aligning your actions with your own values and goals. And when you focus on your own progress, that's exactly what you'll do. High achievers don't get distracted by external opinions because they know that the only thing that really matters is their own growth and development. They are focused on getting better every day, improving their skills, and moving toward their goals. They understand that success isn't about making everyone else happy or getting everyone's approval. It's about doing the work, staying committed, and knowing that every step forward is a victory in itself. The reality is, no one else has the same vision for your life as you do. No one else knows what you're capable of or where you're meant to go. You are the only one who can define your success, and you are the only one who can determine how far you'll go. So why waste time seeking approval from others when you could be investing that energy into your own progress? The more you focus on your own growth, the more you'll realize that the approval of others is irrelevant. It's your progress that matters. So, the next time you find yourself seeking approval or worrying about what others think, remind yourself of this: your progress is the only thing that truly matters. Stay focused on your journey, keep taking action, keep moving forward, and remember, high achievers don't focus on approval, they focus on progress. And that's what leads them to success. Number 5, waiting to be ready is the fastest way to fall behind. There's a mindset that holds many people back. It's the mindset of waiting for the right moment, waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting for the stars to align before they take action. They tell themselves, once I'm ready, once I have everything in place, then I'll start. But here's the truth: waiting to be ready is the fastest way to fall behind. Let's be real about this. There's never going to be a perfect time. There will always be something that isn't quite right, something that doesn't feel ready. If you wait for everything to line up perfectly, you're going to be waiting for a long time. And while you're waiting, someone else is moving forward, taking action and making progress. Every minute you spend waiting is a minute someone else is using to get ahead. The world doesn't wait for you to be ready. Opportunities don't pause for you to catch up. Success doesn't put itself on hold because you're waiting for the perfect moment. It's not about waiting for everything to be perfect. It's about making the decision to start, regardless of whether you feel ready or not. The truth is, you'll never feel fully prepared. The perfect moment will never come. It's easy to think that if you just wait, everything will magically fall into place. But the reality is far different. Life is messy. Success is messy. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start taking action. It's easy to convince yourself that waiting is the best option. You might think, I don't know enough yet, or I need more experience, or I need to save more money. And while preparation is important, perfection is a myth. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to know every step. You don't have to have all the resources lined up. What you need is the courage to take the first step, even if you're not sure what the second step will look like. What's more, the idea of being ready often comes from a place of fear. We tell ourselves we're waiting for the right time, but deep down, we're really just afraid to fail. We're afraid of making mistakes. We're afraid of looking foolish. But here's the reality. Mistakes are part of the process. Failure is part of the journey. If you wait until everything is perfect, you're going to miss out on the invaluable lessons that come from trial and error. You're going to miss out on the growth that happens when you push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Waiting for everything to be perfect is a surefire way to stay stuck. The best way to move forward is to take action, even if you don't feel completely ready. It's about taking the first step and trusting that the next one will come. The more you wait, the more you procrastinate, the more you convince yourself that you need just a little more time, the more you lose out on the opportunities right in front of you. Success is built on momentum, and momentum is built on action. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you're never going to build that momentum. But if you start taking action, no matter how small, you start to build the momentum you need to move forward. And as you take each step, you'll gain more clarity, more confidence, and more insight into what works and what doesn't. You'll learn along the way. You'll adjust your course as you go. But that only happens if you start now, not when everything is perfect. It's easy to get stuck in the trap of waiting. It's comfortable to tell yourself that you'll start tomorrow or next week or once you have more time. But in reality, waiting just keeps you stuck. It keeps you in the same place while everyone else is moving ahead. Every day that you wait is a day you lose. Every moment you hesitate is a moment you could have spent learning, growing, and moving closer to your goals. What if I told you that starting now, even if you feel unprepared, is the best way to set yourself up for success? The most successful people didn't wait for the perfect moment to start. They started before they were ready. They took action before everything was in place, and it was through those imperfect attempts, that they learned what worked and what didn't. They learned through experience. They learned by doing. The reality is that you can't wait for everything to be perfect because the world won't wait for you. Life keeps moving forward, whether you're ready or not. If you want to succeed, you need to start moving too. The faster you take action, the faster you'll learn, adapt, and grow. And that's how progress happens. Think about it. If you keep waiting for the right time, if you keep putting things off until everything is perfect, you're never going to make the progress you want. But if you start now, even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, you're giving yourself the best chance to succeed. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. You'll start to build confidence, gain momentum, and most importantly, you'll start to see results. Here's the truth. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect moment. The only moment that matters is the one right in front of you. The only thing that matters is the action you take today. If you keep waiting for everything to be just right, you'll keep waiting forever. But if you take action now, you'll start moving closer to your goals, step by step, no matter how imperfect those steps may be. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Start now. Take that first step, no matter how small, and let the rest of the journey unfold as you go. You'll never be 100% ready, but you'll always be moving forward. And that's what really matters. Number 6. Every mistake is a step toward excellence. When you look back at your journey, there's a tendency to focus on the mistakes you've made. You might even beat yourself up about them, wishing you could go back and do things differently. But here's the thing that many people don't realize. Every mistake you make is actually a step toward excellence. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. We've all heard the saying, failure is not an option, but let me tell you, failure is not only an option, it's a necessity. It's the only way you're going to learn, grow, and truly excel. Success isn't something that happens overnight, and it's not something that comes without its fair share of setbacks. It's easy to look at successful people and think they just got lucky, that they never stumbled, that they always knew exactly what to do. But that's not the reality. The reality is that they made mistakes, they failed, and they learned from those experiences. They kept going despite the setbacks, and that's what set them apart. Mistakes are often seen as something negative, something to be avoided. But in reality, they're one of the most important things that will shape your success. Every time you mess up, you learn. You learn what doesn't work, what needs to be improved, and what you can do better next time. The more mistakes you make, the more you're figuring out how to do things right. It's a process, it's a journey, and every mistake is a stepping stone toward the person you want to become. Think about it for a second. How many people have you seen quit after making one mistake? How many people have you seen give up just because things didn't go according to plan the first time? Too many, right? They think that the mistake means they're not good enough, that they'll never make it, that they're just not cut out for success. But what if I told you that your mistakes don't define you? What if I told you that they're not something to fear, but something to be thankful for? You see, it's easy to focus on the mistakes. It's easy to let them get you down. But that's not the way of the successful. The successful understand that mistakes are just part of the process. They don't let their mistakes hold them back. They use them as motivation to keep going, to keep improving. Every time they failed, they don't see it as a setback. They see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. If you look at the people who've achieved great things in life, you'll see one common thread. They failed a lot. They didn't give up. They didn't let failure stop them. They used every mistake as fuel to push them further. They understood that excellence is not about being perfect. It's about learning from every failure, every misstep, and continuing to move forward. In fact, I would argue that your mistakes are actually more important than your successes. Your wins feel great in the moment, but it's the lessons learned from failure that stick with you for the long haul. When you fail, you gain wisdom. You gain the kind of insight that only comes from making mistakes. And that wisdom is what helps you become better, stronger, and more capable. It's what turns you into a person who can handle anything that comes your way. But you have to be willing to make mistakes. You have to be willing to take risks, to put yourself out there, knowing that you might fail. It's not about playing it safe. It's about pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. It's about trying things you've never tried before, even if it means you might fall flat on your face. Because here's the truth. If you're not willing to fail, you're never going to reach your full potential. You're never going to achieve the kind of success you dream about. The road to excellence isn't paved with perfection. It's paved with mistakes. Every time you try and fail, you're getting closer to your goal. Every time something doesn't work out, you're learning what works. And eventually, through all the mistakes, through all the failures, you're going to reach a point where things start to click. You're going to look back and realize that all of the struggles, all of the mistakes were necessary to get you where you are. I know it's hard to fail. I know it's painful. I know it feels like you've wasted time or effort. But I want you to shift your perspective. I want you to start seeing failure as an investment in your future. Every time you mess up, you're investing in the knowledge that's going to make you stronger, smarter, and more capable. You're investing in the person you need to become to achieve your goals. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. Don't let fear of failure stop you from taking action, because the truth is, you can't get to excellence without passing through failure. Every mistake is a step closer to becoming the person you want to be. Every time you get knocked down, you have a choice. Stay down or get up. The people who succeed are the ones who keep getting up. They keep moving forward, no matter how many mistakes they make along the way. If you look at the most successful people in the world, they all have one thing in common. They've made countless mistakes, but instead of letting those mistakes define them, they used them to fuel their progress. They didn't let failure stop them. They didn't let it discourage them. They learned from it, grew from it, and kept pushing forward. Remember, excellence isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to make mistakes, to learn from them, and to keep going. It's about embracing failure as part of the journey, not as a roadblock. So the next time you make a mistake, don't see it as a setback, see it as a step toward excellence. Because every mistake you make is one step closer to becoming the best version of yourself, and that's what truly matters. Number 7, progress creates confidence. Perfection creates pressure. It's a simple truth, but one that we often overlook. Progress creates confidence, while perfection creates pressure. And if you want to know the real difference between those who succeed and those who fall short, it's right here. The people who make steady progress in life are the ones who build genuine confidence, the kind of confidence that comes from knowing they're moving in the right direction. On the other hand, those who chase perfection often find themselves weighed down by pressure, constantly doubting themselves, constantly second-guessing every decision, and never truly moving forward. Progress doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. It's the small, consistent steps forward that lead to big changes. Each day you take action, even if it's just a little, you build momentum. That momentum builds confidence. It makes you believe in yourself, makes you feel like you're getting closer to your goals. You start to see that your efforts are paying off, even if the results aren't perfect right away. And that sense of forward movement is what makes you feel. Perfection, on the other hand, creates an entirely different environment. It sets the bar so high that it's almost impossible to reach. It creates this feeling that if it's not perfect, it's not worth doing at all. But that's not true. Perfection is an illusion. It's a moving target. No matter how hard you try, it's always going to be just out of reach, and you're always going to be left feeling like you're falling short. The more you chase perfection, the more pressure you put on yourself. And what happens under pressure? You start to freeze up. You become paralyzed by fear, overwhelmed by the expectation to do everything just right. This is where the difference really matters. Progress is freeing. It's about taking what you have and making it better, step by step. It's about not worrying if it's perfect, but just moving forward. It's about understanding that you don't have to have everything figured out all at once. When you focus on progress, the pressure lifts, and you're able to enjoy the process of growth. You begin to trust the journey, and as you see progress, that trust in yourself grows stronger and stronger. But when you focus on perfection, it's the complete opposite. You're constantly chasing this ideal of perfection that doesn't even exist. And with that chase comes the weight of feeling like you're never enough, like no matter what you do, it's not good enough. It's a mental trap. Perfectionism keeps you in a state of stress, doubt, and anxiety. You become afraid to make a move because you're afraid of making a mistake, of not meeting the unrealistic standards you've set for yourself. And that fear holds you back. Look around you. The most successful people, the ones who are truly making a difference in the world, are not the ones who wait for everything to be perfect before they take action. They're the ones who start where they are with what they have and just keep moving forward. They understand that progress doesn't have to be flawless. It just needs to be forward motion. And that's what builds the real confidence, the confidence that comes from action, from doing, from learning and growing along the way. Think about the first time you tried something new. Maybe it was a job, a hobby, or a new project. At first, you weren't great at it. You made mistakes. You stumbled. But as you kept going, you got better. And with each small improvement, your confidence grew. You didn't wait for the perfect moment. You just got started. And each little step forward built on the last. That's what progress is all about. It's the foundation for long-term growth. The kind of growth that leads to real, lasting success. Perfection, on the other hand, is more like an anchor. It holds you in place, stopping you from even starting. When you focus too much on getting everything perfect, you become so consumed with the idea of failure that you forget about the power of taking action. You don't make any progress at all because you're too afraid to fail, too afraid to take a step without it being perfect. But the truth is, without mistakes, without imperfections, there's no real learning, no real growth. You can't improve if you're not willing to make mistakes, if you're not willing to put yourself out there. and take risks. So, what's the answer? The answer is simple. Stop aiming for perfection and start aiming for progress. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions to take action. Stop waiting for everything to line up perfectly before you start. The conditions will never be perfect. The timing will never be exactly right. There will always be something that's not quite ready, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you start, and you start now. As you take action, no matter how small, you'll begin to see results. You'll begin to build the confidence that comes with progress. You'll start to realize that the little things add up. That small effort repeated over time leads to massive growth. And that growth is what leads to success, not perfection, just progress. And every step you take forward will make you feel more capable, more confident, and more driven. Perfection will always be a trap. It's a never-ending chase, a pursuit that keeps you from actually getting anywhere. But progress is liberating. Progress is empowering. Progress is what gives you the confidence to keep going, even when things aren't perfect. And when you have that confidence, when you trust yourself, when you trust the process, that's when everything starts to click. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to be perfect. Start making progress. Start taking action. Start learning and growing one step at a time. And as you do, you'll see that the confidence you gain along the way will far outweigh any pressure you ever felt trying to be perfect. Progress is your path forward, and that's all you need. Number 8, action separates dreamers from achievers. You know what separates those who dream of success from those who actually achieve it? It's action. It's the bold move, the decision to take that first step, no matter how small, and then keep moving. Action is the bridge that turns dreams into reality, and without it, a dream is just an idea floating in the air, never grounded in reality. Think about it. How many people do you know who have big ideas, lofty goals, and all the potential in the world, but when it comes down to it, they just wait, they talk about it, they plan it, they think about it, but they don't act. And because of that, they stay stuck. Their dreams remain nothing more than fantasies. Then there are the achievers, the ones who get things done. They don't just dream, they do. They don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect time to take action. They just take that first step, then the next, then the next. And before they know it, they're miles ahead while everyone else is still stuck in their heads, thinking about what could be. That's the difference between dreamers and achievers. It's not about how big your dreams are or how much you know. It's about what you're willing to do with what you have right now. I get it. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new idea, to imagine how great things could be if everything falls into place. But let's face it, dreams don't work until you do. And you have to be willing to take imperfect action, even when you don't feel ready, even when you're uncertain, and even when the odds don't seem in your favor. The ones who achieve their dreams aren't necessarily the ones who have the best ideas or the most resources. They're the ones who have the courage to get started. What holds most people back is that they think they need everything to be perfect. They want the perfect plan, the perfect strategy, the perfect timing. They sit there analyzing, overthinking, and waiting for that ideal moment to take action. But that moment never comes. The only thing that guarantees failure is doing nothing. And it's because of that hesitation, that fear of not being perfect, that so many people end up stuck. They wait, and all the while the clock keeps ticking, and their dreams fade further away. The truth is, success comes from the willingness to take action, no matter what. You don't have to know everything right now. You don't have to have it all figured out. What you need is the courage to move, even if you're not 100% sure of the outcome. That's where real progress happens. It's not about waiting for everything to fall into place. It's about taking what you have and doing something with it. Every small action you take moves you one step closer to your goal. Every little bit of effort you put in builds momentum. And here's something else. Action builds confidence. The more you act, the more you learn, and the more you grow. It's like a muscle. At first it feels awkward, maybe even uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. You start to trust yourself, you start to trust the process, and you begin to see that the results, while they might not be perfect, are still moving you forward. And that's powerful, because when you have that confidence, you begin to take even bigger actions. And before long, you're building the kind of momentum that makes you unstoppable. On the flip side, dreamers, those who wait and wait for the right moment, are stuck in a constant loop of frustration. They tell themselves that they'll take action tomorrow or next week or when they have more money or when the timing is just right. But guess what? Tomorrow never comes. They keep pushing things off and their dreams stay just out of reach. They let fear, doubt, and uncertainty keep them from taking that first step. And as time passes, the gap between their dreams and reality only grows. But when you start taking action, even if it's small, you start to close that gap. You start moving toward what you want, no matter how long it takes. And yes, you will stumble. You will make mistakes. You might fail a few times along the way, but that's part of the process. The biggest risk is not doing anything at all. The real failure is in not trying, in letting your dreams slip away because you were too afraid to take action. Look at the great achievers in any field, whether it's business, sports, entertainment, or personal growth. They didn't get to where they are by sitting around waiting for things to happen. They took action. They failed, they learned, they adjusted, and they kept going. Action wasn't optional. It was necessary. It was the key to unlocking their success. And here's the thing, anyone can do this. Anyone can start taking action today. It doesn't require you to be perfect or to know everything. It just requires you to start moving. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions, the perfect timing, or the perfect amount of information. The conditions will never be perfect. The perfect time is now. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is the willingness to take that first step, to take action and to trust that the rest will fall into place as you go. Every step you take, every action you take is a part of the process that leads to your success. It's time to stop dreaming and start doing, because action is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's what makes the difference between those who stay stuck and those who make things happen. Don't let your dreams stay in your head. Bring them to life with your actions. Every step you take today brings you closer to where you want to be tomorrow. So get moving. The dream is waiting for you, but only you can make it real. Number 9, perfection kills. Speed, progress creates success. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Let me repeat that. Perfection kills speed, and speed is what creates success. When you focus on getting everything just right, you start moving slower, and before you know it, you're stuck. Perfectionism traps you in a loop of overthinking, overanalyzing, and second-guessing yourself, and by the time you finally feel like you're ready, the opportunity has passed. Think about that for a second. How many chances have you missed because you were waiting for the perfect moment? How many times have you held back from taking action because you wanted everything to be flawless? Here's the hard truth. The pursuit of perfection often leads to procrastination. It convinces you that you need everything to be absolutely perfect before you can take that first step. But the truth is, perfection doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And the more you chase it, the further away your goals become. Instead of being productive, you're spending all your energy trying to make things perfect, which just slows you down. Success is built on progress, not perfection. Think about the people who've accomplished great things. Do you think they got there by trying to perfect every little detail before they took action? No. They started with what they had and kept moving. They focused on progress, and the more progress they made, the more they learned and the faster they could move. That's what propelled them forward. And guess what? The same thing can happen for you, but only if you let go of the idea that everything needs to be perfect. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're starting a business. You have an idea, you have the motivation, but you're waiting until you have the perfect product, the perfect website, the perfect marketing strategy, the perfect pitch. But here's the problem. While you're busy trying to make everything perfect, someone else is out there launching their business with an imperfect product, an imperfect website, and an imperfect pitch. And guess what? They're already making sales, already learning from their mistakes, and already improving. They're not waiting for the perfect moment. They're making progress. And that progress, no matter how small, is what leads to success. Now, I'm not saying you should rush into things without any preparation or forethought. It's important to plan, but the key is to take action while you're planning, not after you've perfected everything. Don't wait until everything is perfect before you start. The most successful people in the world didn't wait for the perfect conditions. They started, they adjusted, they improved along the way. That's how success works. The more you do, the more you learn. The faster you move, the faster you'll reach your goals. It's about keeping the momentum going even when things aren't perfect. You might be thinking, but if I don't perfect it, won't I risk failure? And here's the thing. Failure is part of the process. It's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. Every mistake, every setback, every failure is a lesson in disguise. It's helping you grow. It's teaching you what works and what doesn't. And it's bringing you one step closer to your goal. If you never make mistakes, you're not learning. And if you're not learning, you're not progressing. It's as simple as that. Perfectionism can also prevent you from celebrating your small wins. If you're constantly focused on making everything flawless, you'll never feel like you've succeeded. But success is built on small victories. Every step forward is progress. Every action you take, no matter how imperfect, is a win. And those wins add up over time. The more you focus on progress, the more you'll build the confidence and momentum you need to keep going. The more you let go of the need for perfection, the faster you'll move toward your goals. Let me give you another example. Think about a writer. The first draft of any book, article, or story is rarely perfect. It's rough, messy, and full of flaws. But the writer doesn't get stuck in the details. They write, they revise, they improve, and they keep going. If they waited for every sentence to be perfect before writing the next one, they'd never finish the book. And neither will you if you keep waiting for everything to be perfect. It's not about creating something flawless from the start. It's about creating something and improving it as you go. The key to success is in building momentum. And momentum is created by taking action. Not waiting, not overthinking, not trying to make everything perfect. You get better through doing. The more you do, the more you learn, the more you grow, and the faster you can move. The perfection trap keeps you stagnant, but progress keeps you moving forward. Look, there's no magic moment when everything will suddenly be perfect. There's no perfect strategy, no perfect time, no perfect condition. Waiting for everything to be just right is a surefire way to fall behind. The world isn't waiting for your perfection. It's waiting for your action. It's waiting for you to take that first step, even if it's not perfect. Because once you start, once you make that first move, everything else starts to fall into place. When you stop focusing on perfection and start focusing on progress, that's when things begin to shift. That's when you start seeing real results. That's when you begin to realize that success isn't about being perfect. It's about moving forward, even when things aren't ideal. It's about taking action, learning from your mistakes, and continuously improving. So let go of perfection and embrace progress. Keep moving, keep improving, and watch as success starts to follow you. Number 10, small wins every day lead to massive results over time. Every single day is a fresh opportunity to make progress, to take one more step towards something bigger. It doesn't have to be a huge leap. In fact, it rarely is, but every small win you accumulate, those seemingly insignificant moments, build up over time, compounding into massive results. Success doesn't come all at once, and it definitely doesn't come by making one giant flawless move. Instead, it's built brick by brick through consistent effort, and these small wins, they are the foundation. Let me ask you to think back on the last year of your life. What are the things you've achieved? I'm sure there are a few big wins in there, but I'm willing to bet that the things that really pushed you forward were the small wins, the tiny victories that at the time didn't feel like much. You know the ones I mean. Those days when you made progress, even though it wasn't perfect. The days when you showed up, did something, and moved a little closer to your goal. It's the consistency of these moments that leads to extraordinary results. It's not about grand gestures or waiting for the right moment. It's about showing up, putting in the effort, and getting better every day. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How can these small wins really add up to anything meaningful? It's easy to overlook the value of the little things, to dismiss them as not important enough. But that's exactly where people go wrong. Success doesn't come from a single big moment. It's not about hitting it big on one massive day. It's about building momentum through small wins every single day. Let me tell you why that's so powerful. When you focus on small wins, you're giving yourself something to celebrate every day. It might seem trivial, but those celebrations, those moments of achievement, no matter how small, keep your motivation alive. They fuel your drive to keep going even when the road gets tough. Without those little victories, it's easy to lose sight of your bigger goals and get discouraged. But when you make a habit of celebrating progress, no matter how small, you train yourself to keep moving forward. You start seeing results, even when things seem slow, and that builds confidence. And that confidence, that's what propels you to keep pushing, to keep showing up, and to keep taking action. Think about it this way. Every time you make a small win, you're essentially depositing into your future success. You might not see the payoff immediately, but over time, those deposits start to accumulate, and suddenly you find yourself looking at a massive success account. It's the compound effect. Those small wins snowball into something much bigger. It's like saving money. If you put away a small amount every day, it doesn't seem like much at first, but after a while, you realize you've built something substantial. Success works the same way. Each small action, each small win builds on the last. Before you know it, you've created something that's way bigger than what you could have achieved with just one big move. And here's the thing. When you focus on making progress every day, you're not just moving closer to your goal, you're also developing the habits and mindset that make long-term success possible. Small wins aren't just about achieving something, they're about conditioning yourself to be the kind of person who takes consistent action. You're building a work ethic, a routine, and a way of thinking that will serve you in the future. The more you make these small wins a part of your daily life, the more they become second nature. And over time, they'll transform you into someone who doesn't just wish for success, but goes out and creates it. There's a powerful ripple effect that happens when you start focusing on small wins. When you accomplish something, no matter how small, it sends a message to your brain that you're on the right path. It's a win for your confidence, for your belief in yourself, and for your vision. And this ripples out into other areas of your life. Small wins breed more wins. Success in one area of life often leads to success in other areas. You get better at your work, you become more disciplined in your habits, and you start making better decisions. It's like unlocking a level in a game. The more you progress, the more you're capable of handling. As you stack up your small wins, they empower you to tackle bigger challenges with more confidence. Here's another thing that happens when you focus on small wins. You stop getting bogged down by perfectionism. So many people get caught in the trap of waiting for everything to be perfect before they take action. They think, once everything's just right, I'll start, and then nothing ever happens. But when you're focused on making progress, on taking small steps each day, perfection isn't the goal. The goal is to keep moving. And the truth is, perfectionism only slows you down. It creates a barrier that keeps you from doing anything but progress. Progress creates momentum, and momentum creates results. The more you focus on the next small step, the less pressure you put on yourself to be perfect, and the more you'll get done. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. Do you think they got where they are by waiting for everything to be perfect? No. They started, they took action, and they kept going. Each day they found small ways to improve, small ways to make progress, and each of those small steps added up to something extraordinary. If they had waited for the perfect moment, they would have never moved forward. But by focusing on small wins, they were able to keep growing and achieving one step at a time. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's time to stop looking for giant leaps. The road to success is paved with small wins, and those wins are what will get you where you want to go. Every day you make progress, you're building a foundation for something much bigger. You're laying the bricks of your future success, and over time, those bricks will stack up, creating a strong, unshakable foundation for everything you want to achieve. So today, take that first step. Focus on one small win. Make progress, even if it's just a little bit, because those small wins will lead you to massive results over time. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Make this moment your first win. Keep showing up, keep moving forward, and watch as your small wins add up to something extraordinary. The best part? You're building success every day, and the best is yet to come. So, here's the truth. Perfection is a trap, but progress is the key. If you keep waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. But the moment you start moving forward, even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect, that's when things start to change. That's when success becomes possible. Look back at any great achievement in history. It wasn't built in a day. It wasn't built without mistakes. It was built by people who kept moving forward. They didn't wait for perfection. They made progress, step by step, day by day, learning, adjusting, and improving along the way. And that's exactly what you need to do. So I want you to make a decision today. Stop waiting. Start doing. Whatever goal you have, take one step today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a step forward. Because every small step adds up, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Now, if this message hit you, if it made you think, don't just listen to it and move on. Do something with it. Apply it. Take action. And most importantly, keep making progress, because progress will take you further than perfection ever will. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep moving forward, because your success depends on it. Start doing. Whatever goal you have, take one step today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a step forward. Because every small step adds up. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Now, if this message hit you, if it made you think, don't just listen to it and move on. Do something with it. Apply it. Take action. And most importantly, keep making progress, because progress will take you further than perfection ever will. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep moving forward, because your success depends on it.